Musically.
Hello and welcome to Relationship Soup. I'm your host, Lisa Hughes. Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. How y'all doing today? How was your weekend? How's your week going? How's your heart feeling? Right? Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you. My week is going well. I really can't complain. You got to control the controllables, right? So anyway, thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate you. Always do. We're up to the 73rd episode, and it's because of you. So whether you are watching this on the replay, whether you're watching this live, I love you and I appreciate you, right? And if you want to join me in the studio, okay, if you want to get in this here studio, the link is already read. I would love to see you in the studio with me tonight, right? If you got something you want to say, you can type it in the thread or you can just join me in the studio. Now listen, we're up to the 73rd episode, right? And I see y'all comments. I promise I'm going to bring them on. But before I get started, y'all know I must do my spiel. Y'all know I got to do that, right? So listen, on YouTube, it's Relationship Soup, period. You got to put the period in there. If you don't put the period, you're going to be somewhere else, right? If you want the forum, it's Relationship Soup Group. If you want to follow me, it's RelationshipSoupLLC. And of course, the greeting cards, right? It's RelationshipSoup.com, right? All right. So anyway, y'all, thank you so much for joining me. I see your comments. Happy Tuesday, beautiful. How are you doing, Holly? Thank you so much for joining me. You know I appreciate you. Hope life is blowing you kisses. Getting rid of heartbreak today. Need peace in my life. I get it. And I'm sending you love and life. We gonna look, love, life, light, prayer, all that. I'm sending all that to you, Holly. And we're gonna get into a little bit of that today, right? Because heartbreak, that happens in life, right? So I got something for you. So stick around. I really appreciate you. Tonality Records. What's the science? Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining me. Sending healing vibes to your mom. I hope that she's doing better. All right. So anyway, thank y'all so much for joining me. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into this. Now, this is the 73rd episode. I don't know why I'm so tongue-tied today. So this one is entitled, Your Peace is Not Public. And so we're going to get into digital boundaries, real life, and soul protection, right? So that's what we're going to get into Joe, what's the science? Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready to have this conversation, Tyron. We're gonna wrap up some things and we're gonna get into some stuff today, right? You know you probably need to get into the studio. So I'll put the link out there. If y'all want to go ahead and get into this studio, here's the link right here. Just follow the prompts, and I would love to have you. Hey, Halo. Thank you so much for joining me. Yeah, all is well. All is well, right? All right. So anyway, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into this episode. Now, before we start, I want y'all to just take a deep breath with me. All right. And let's just reflect, right? I know the truth be told, the world can feel really heavy right now. That's just what it is. There's so much going on. And it may even feel like not only is the world under attack, but your peace is under attack, right? So just let's get in alignment and let's just take a deep breath. It's all gonna work out, right? So anyway, this is what we're gonna do today. Now, y'all remember the conversation we had last week, which was really, really a good conversation, right? And thank y'all so much for the feedback. I appreciate y'all feedback after the show because I actually listen to it, and it's always a good thing when I know that what we talk about really helps you. So, I really appreciate that. Renee Johnson, thank you for joining me, beautiful. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, so much. All right, y'all. So this is what we're gonna do. Like I said, all right. So we're gonna wrap up. Remember last week we talked about digital hygiene. Okay, we talked about like what is your digital life saying about you. Remember we talked about passwords. We talked about Palantir. We got into all of that last week, right? Now, as I was ending it, and sometimes my hunger gets the best of me, right? Because y'all know how I be on a Tuesday. I thought about it. Phone numbers. We didn't talk about phone numbers, y'all. We didn't talk about phone numbers at all. And that is truly a part of digital hygiene. You know what I mean? So we're going to talk about that tonight, protecting that, right? So tonight is not just about tech, like I said. We're going to get into the soul stuff because, I like to keep that at the forefront. So anyway, if y'all ain't grabbed y'all drinks already, get your drinks. And so let's go ahead. Let's talk. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the digital hygiene, your phone number. Now, put it in the chat because I'm curious. Do some of y'all just give any old body your phone number? Do you protect your phone number? Right? I'm just curious. Feel free to put it in the chat because it is really so important to protect your phone number. Why? Maybe some of you are aware of that, but your phone number in the wrong hands can cause a lot of damage, and it can be a gateway that you ain't even trying to open, right? Not only is your identity, right? Your phone number is linked to a lot of different things, probably, right? So, not just your identity, it's your habits, your location, and even your family, right? So, that's just something to think about. Think about how many delivery apps, right? I'm guilty. Retail accounts, websites you've given your phone number to, social media. How many of y'all got y'all social media sites linked to your phone number? Right? How many of y'all didn't check the little box where it says where people can find you per your phone number? Right? Halo says, "Man, story of my life." Listen, and a little joke popped in my head. Y'all know I think I'm a closet comedian, right? Like having a Google Voice number is really important, right? So we're gonna get into that. So anyway, look, listen. Like we talked about with the other stuff last week, this also creates a breadcrumb trail to you, right? You can be traced, your information can be stolen, sold, all of that. Look, I already know my information on the dark web, right? I got the little text, not the text, the email last year talking about that my information had been leaked and all of that stuff, right? It just is what it is, right? Probably some of y'all in this thread too, because so many hacks have happened over the years, right? So anyway, so let's go ahead and think about this. Your phone number. Not only do they have access to your full name, that middle name that you probably don't be trying to tell nobody sometimes. They got full access to that. Your address history, relatives. Because let me tell you something. I received a text the other day, no lie. And I feel like it was because of my uncle, my paternal uncle, right? Like a text about a property that I know that he owns, right? So it's just like, wow, I'm literally getting a text about a property that I know that he owns. Just the connection. That's crazy. You know what I mean? So you got to think about that. All right. So your relatives, your social profiles, and the truth of the matter, we've all heard about phone numbers getting spoofed, right? It's just so many scams, and why give people this permission? Now, some things are just uncontrollable. Like some things it just is what it is. It's almost a feeling of when your information is compromised, like when it's going to happen. But there's still an option to control the controllers. You feel me? And we're gonna get into that. Let's see here. Hi, Malik. Thank you so much for joining me. What you think? Do you be giving your phone number to everybody, Malik? Have you taken precautions to stop the spread of your number to places where you don't want it? Talk to me. All right. So anyway, so let's look at this. All right. So now, your phone number. Have y'all ever Googled yourself? Now, I know y'all remember. Some of y'all remember. Y'all been with me. Some of y'all have been with me a minute. When I used to co-host with uh, Dwayne Cobb, and we had the guest man. He was so cocky, homie. Was like, man, you can Google me, right? Google me. And so we actually did on the show. We Googled bro. He was a local artist at the time, and we couldn't find that on him, right? And so we laughed, Dwayne, you know how he roasts, that's what he do with his shows. But we really couldn't find nothing on him. And even though during that time we truly laughed about it, that was actually in a safe place to be, right? Because now you put your phone number in. Have y'all ever put your phone number in a search engine? I have, right? And I found out a lot of interesting stuff about me. Like it had everything, relatives, right? Even had me as a white woman. I'm Caucasian online. Well, I went through and I've taken measures to delete stuff, right? I mean, some of the information ain't right, but some of the information was right, and that's very unnerving, right? Um, so search your number. I challenge you if you haven't done so. We're in the age where a lot of you probably know this, but it's nothing wrong with like a little reminder here and there. So like Tokyo. Look, I definitely went on there. I'm like, hey, we got to get rid of this information for real. Y'all know it too much. So white pages, Spokio, True People Search, all of that. Like, put your numbers in there and see what you can find, right? Because the truth of the matter is, you can be exposed to stalking. Have you ever had a stalker before? Right, a lot of y'all have probably had a stalker before, whether known or unknown. I know I have. Right? Stalkers ain't no fun. And why give them the information? Make it easy for them. You feel me? So that's just something to think about. Okay, let's see here. I see y'all comments. I haven't met anyone personally to give the phone number to. That's good, Holly. And you know what? I challenge you to give a Google voice. Are there other, I know there are, like, sources out there for fake numbers, right? Because I definitely have the Google Voice, and some of y'all know what that number is. Like, I've given out the Google Voice, but it's a protection piece, and you can actually use that for some sites and stuff like that. But what I have found, because there's times when I did try to use that Google Voice, and it recognized it was deemed as not a real number. So, sometimes you may have to be forced to use your real number. So, are there other sites out there that might bypass that? Let me know. Let me know. I'm just saying. All right, so let's see here. Hi, Derek. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you are well. Hug your mama for me. All right, so Tyron Joe says, I have a job where I have to give my number to customers, and it makes me cringe sometimes because random people will call me. Listen, Tyron. So, Tyron, you can't use a Google Voice? Like, you know what I mean? I remember when the pandemic hit, and for my position, I don't give my phone number to students anyway, right? I'm like, hey, you need me, email me, right? I'm not giving my phone number for a number of reasons because it's just a number of reasons. However, when the pandemic hit, we were given permission to create a Google Voice number or whatever to give to students. So why you have to give your real number? You can't use a Google. Just saying. Mawanda Woodson, what's the science? How are you, beautiful? Thank you so much for joining me. You know I appreciate you. You haven't? Okay, Halo, that's what's up. See, Holly, don't laugh at my jokes. You're gonna encourage me. I'm just saying. Tyron says, "Yeah, I might have to use." Yes, Tyron. Come on now. You got to use Google Voice, something, right? And you have to be careful because sometimes, depending on the phone number that you have, sometimes there was a Google Voice that may have already been attached to it. So you have to be careful with that as well. I got a text now number. Okay. That's probably a good thing. Like I know WhatsApp, I've seen it, but I haven't really used it like that. I believe that's one too. All right, y'all. So let's look at this. Let's get back to the topic. So there's another thing that y'all have to think about. Like again, I've talked about spoofing and stuff like that, right? Because you there can be access to like your bank accounts, your emails, all of that, right? And something to think about. How many of y'all, like for the two-factor authentication, how many of y'all use y'all real phone number? Right? How many of y'all use a phone number? Because in the past I did. But there's an option where you can actually use an app, which is probably safer. Now think about this. Have y'all ever had y'all Facebook hacked or anything hacked? And you try to do the two-factor. Like I ran into this before. And that's one reason why I made changes even with Facebook, right? Because I was trying to get into my phone number. It wasn't sending. It was a whole, I know my favorite word, food. It was a whole food, right? So you might want to think about, removing your number because it's only a matter of seconds. These hackers, they smart, they slick. I won't even say smart because I like to assign the word smart to people that are, you know, right, walking in the light, if you will. They slick as hell. And if they can get what they need to get done in seconds. So you gotta protect yourself. I had a text-free number once upon a time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's probably a good thing because I mean it might not be once upon a time. You probably need to get it back because you should definitely protect and listen, now tonality. You work for a major phone company, right? I'm sure you done heard some stories, right? So you might want to get that back. So another thing, y'all, like spam calls, robocalls. How many of y'all get those? That's because your number is out there. It's leaked. It's out there. And unfortunately, I feel like even though that you can take precautions, some of this stuff was done early on, like when giving your number was the norm, right? It's just like, okay, my phone number before Google existed. Some of those very sites and organizations, businesses, or whatever are being hacked, right? So anyway, y'all all know about the spam calls, the people pretending to be, banks, government agencies, and I know there's something going around now about what is it, the tolls and all that. You really have to watch that. So anyway, that's another reason to protect your number. Of course, you already know people can spoof, fake profile, and they can get your location, right? From the pictures you post online, your phone number can provide all of that. I was actually looking at I saw something on social media the other day, and this woman, she, would listen to. How many of y'all listen to like YouTube or something at night? With your phone, you might have your meditations going or whatever. But she was doing that. She was listening to something, and so she rolled over and looked at her phone. It was some man on her phone, like he was on her FaceTime. Right? She ain't called nobody. He just had access. Her phone was hacked, right? And I remember actually, and even be careful when you're like touching your phone and your screen, because this is something that I didn't know that I recently learned about. Okay, I really do be taking my trainings at work, right? And this one was about security and all that stuff. And it was talking about how it can look like there's a hair, like a fine hair on your screen. And so you press that, you take your phone and you try to wipe it off, but it really gives permission for whoever sent that slick hair on your screen to have access to your phone. So that's why, to my friends and family, when y'all hear me blowing on my phone, that's why I'm making sure, look, that that's not one of those things. So, that's just something to think about as well. So let's see here. Halo says, I have an outrageous amount of scammers that hit my line. Man, listen. Me too. And I've had some that are like new. I don't know. They cut from a different cloth because I actually had one hit me at 3 a.m. and it was a scammer, right? It really was a scammer. Like at 3 a.m. Yeah. Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about, Halo. So I ain't even making it up. Sally says, I work in tech, so you know I've seen it all and have set up perimeters to protect my info. That's why I use Apple products because they are the most secure but not perfect. Absolutely. Share some of those in the chat, Tonality. Share with the listeners. Some of us need that. All right. So anyway, is there anything else I want to again, online order dating apps. Now I've never been on a dating app, but if you're on a dating app, you better put that Google Voice out there, or that text now, or that WhatsApp, or whatever. Right? I see that you have 48 laws of power in your back. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, yeah, I do. I read a little bit, and I don't just read. I don't read with my finger either. Yeah, that's a powerful book, right? You gotta expand that, right? Yeah. You read that book, Halo? What you feel about that book? All right, so let's see here. Is there anything else? So basically, y'all, treat your phone number like your front door key. You're not just gonna give that key to nobody. Some of y'all in whole relationships right now, and you ain't even got the key. So why not treat your phone number like that? Right? Protect your phone number. Right? How to be aware when hackers are trying to hack. Yeah, I mean that you have to equip yourself with even basic knowledge. And there are influencers I'm thinking about even on Instagram, Facebook. This one influencer I follow, and I'll give you that information in Woodson, and I'll also share it in the chat. He shares like stuff going on, like with hacking, with all kind of stuff to keep you aware because it's always something. I never thought about like something looking like a hair on my phone, and if I touch it, then they have access to my phone. Like I never thought about that. Nikki Bonner, what's the science? What's up, beautiful? It's been a minute. How you doing? I see you've been all over the world doing living life and doing it beautifully. So how you been? How you been? Halo says I read the book. Yeah, absolutely. You got to. I mean, you don't have to do anything, but it's a really good read. I think that is great knowledge, and the more knowledge you have, the better. For me, anyway. I also had it. I had it. I also read his other books. That's what's up. Hey, share them in the chat. Share in the chat, Halo. What other books you read of his? Derek Norris, 48 Laws of Power and the Art of War. Yes, the Art of War. I remember, let's see here. I read that. I think that was college, right? Much needed reading, even if only for discerning the actions of others. Absolutely. Just knowing how to move and read others is important. I think that's a good thing. I see Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is, y'all looking at my background. I'm glad it's clean back there. Yeah, I got a few books, right? Yeah, I consider myself pretty conscious. Yeah, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yeah, that's a good one too. That's a really good one as well, right? Put y'all some of y'all favorite books in the chat. Let's spread some knowledge. What y'all reading? What y'all reading right now? Right. All right, so let's see here. So, oh yeah, so there's always an option to remove your phone numbers from public data sites like White Pages, Spokio, all of that. I would definitely recommend getting Life or a service like that. I know that the credit bureaus actually have where they can monitor and stuff. I would recommend that you do that. That's one way to protect yourself as well, Mwanda. That's one way so that when things hit the fan, you can act, right? So I would definitely recommend that. Opt out of people search sites. Like, listen, because one thing with LifeLock that I found, um, it gave me all of the sites that my information was on. And I actually went through clicking like, yeah, take me off, take me off, take me off. So there's I mean, I'm sure that that's just something you just got to keep up with because it's probably just like a domino. It's just going to keep going. But control the controllables. If you can remove your information, do it. I blurred my residence, right? I just thought about that, like, yeah, I'm gonna blur my residence until this house is for sale. Hey, let me go ahead and blur that. Now I know in doing that you have to be careful because I believe it's with if it's with Google, it's permanent or whatever. But hey, listen, the way people moving now, you can get that house sold. You probably ain't got to put it online no more. Holly says, I need that book. Absolutely. Yes, yes. And you know what? Audio books are good too. YouTube is a gem. There are so many audio books out there. And I know that some of these are out there too, right? Yeah, so you can listen to it. I'll be listening to certain books and stuff like that. It's been really helpful. Their Eyes Are on God by Zornil. Absolutely. Yes, 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 yes. Facebook is crawling. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Like I felt like the people that kept tagging my lives. I'm like, bro, y'all probably ain't even real. Like y'all just trying to get a piece of the soup. All right, so another way that you can protect y'all, then I'm gonna go ahead and move on to something else. Do y'all remember star 6 7? Did y'all ever use star 6 7? That's another way to protect your number. Like, if you don't want your number out there. And then some companies, Tonality, let me know if I'm right or wrong, where you can actually like scramble your number. And I believe that Google Voice does that. Like you can like when you use Google Voice, you don't even have to have that number come up. It can give you another phone number, scramble it or whatever. Right. So that's another thing. Again, and as far as the digital hygiene piece, like unsubscribe from services that text you unnecessarily. Stuff that y'all not using no more, deactivate it, get rid of it. Like we talked about last week, do that with your phone number too. Right. So I'm just saying. I definitely listen to audio. Oh, I love an audio book. I really do. Audiobooks are amazing. Brian's Cross. How are you, B? Haley said, I see you're still full of life. Hey, I try to be resourceful, right? I try to be more than just, take up space. Absolutely. Thank you for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you. Oh yeah, and avoid making your number searchable like on TikTok, Facebook, Insta, all of that, right? So anyway. So y'all got anything else y'all want to contribute? Because we about to move on to this soul piece. I got to keep this at the forefront. I mean, yes, you can mask your number with various services, including Google Voice. You know what? And that's something else too. Because I remember at one time, Google Voice could now the terminology reads, help me out with this. Like you could assign permission for Google Voice to totally take over your phone, your voicemail and everything. And I used to really love that. And I'm gonna come back to voicemail. Don't y'all let me forget. And I love that because Google Voice is like, when you call somebody with Google Voice, state your name after the tone or whatever, right? So then, Google Voice will allow you to hear who it is before you even answer. And then there's also the option where you can send, you don't even have to have anything ring into your phone. You can send it to an email. And then it would also take over your voicemail as well, right? Now that's not the case unless I'm not hitting the right permissions or I don't know, the version that I have is not updated. You can't do that anymore. And with your voicemail, y'all, I would be careful putting your voice on there. I don't even put my voice on there. Y'all remember back in the day, man, we lived through some good times. Listen, hey, Generation Xers, listen, millennials, we lived through some good times. You hear me? Remember we used to with the voicemail, we would have the music on, create a whole ambiance, like, hey, thank you for calling. No, we ain't doing that no more. You better let Siri do it, right? You better have a robotic voice or something that's not yours because people are spoofing your voice. They're stealing your voice, right? We got AI and all this different stuff. And then sometimes with your greeting, it will state your phone number. Stop. Stop giving people access. You basically saying, here, take my key, bruh. Here, sis. You can have my key. You need to stop. Just stop. So let's see here. I don't do enough to be important. I just really stay out of the way. I get it, Halo. You may think that you don't do enough. What that credit score looking like though? Right. You got any money in the bank? You don't answer these. These are truly rhetorical. You might not do enough. You might, be low key, but hey, I don't know a scammer that don't care, that really care about that. They just want to get what they can get when they can get it. So, I mean, although that's a good thing because I like to stay out the way too, but you still got to take measures to protect yourself. Just saying. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and shift this a bit. So anyway, like we know that security matters. It really does. Protecting your phone number is everything. That tech piece, that digital hygiene piece is everything. But what about your soul piece? How y'all doing with y'all soul piece? And let me ask that question again. How's your heart? How's your heart right now? I know what you're dealing with, Holly, right? It's just so much going on, right? Some of us are, you are, you know, caregivers. You're caring for sick loved ones, right? Some of y'all are just exhausted. Some of y'all are maybe freshly out of a relationship, divorced, whatever. There's just so much going on. And then even from the aspect of y'all watching social media, y'all reading the headlines, y'all see what's going on out here? How's that affecting your heart space and your peace? Right? How y'all feeling right now? So let's talk about that. Even if you feel like the walls are closing in, even if you're having fallouts with friends, family, your boo thing, whatever, right? You're not crazy. So let's talk about how we deal with that. And I know that we talk about that. We've covered, some of the guests have even covered that on some of past shows. But the truth of the matter is, this is an ongoing thing, right? So I like to keep it at the front because I feel like some seeds, it's okay. It's okay to replant them. Just saying. All right, so let's see here. Google Voice and now Apple can screen your calls. Verizon has a service for business owners called One Talk that is top tier at masking that customers cannot access your personal information. Really? Okay. Okay. How much is that? Frugal Lisa gonna come out. How much is that? How much that cost? You gonna? Oh, okay. Well, you know what? This is what I'll do. If you're interested in this service, please hit up to now. All right, boom. So anyway, so let's look at this. So I want you to take a moment. Do me a favor, y'all. Take a moment and drop in the chat how you're feeling. Like, how's your heart in this moment, right? Even if it's just one word, drop that in the chat for me. I see a lot on social media, but I don't really allow it to affect my emotional state anymore. How'd you get to that point, Halo? How'd you get to that point? How did you get to the point where you don't allow things to really affect your emotional state anymore? What did you do? Right? Because, that's something that, I still feel like I'm evolving to on some things because sometimes emotionally, I mean, it could be my zodiac sign, my birth chart makeup, I don't know. But how'd you get to that point? I redecorate or make gift baskets. Both make me happy. Absolutely. Right? That's one way. That's one way as far as your heart space and controlling that. Let's see here. Where else do I want to go? So anyway, I'll just say, some of the stuff that I've shared, that I've been experiencing or experienced in my past or whatever, I really had to build and learn how to, release and deal with things, right? And I really feel like I had to rebuild myself from scratch. I did, right? I had to learn how to rest. And then sometimes I feel like I got to earn rest. Even though, I'm learning these things, sometimes I get in those modes where I'm like, well, I got to earn it. I got to get this done or whatever, right? Hence, I'll be up wee hours in the morning. Those closest to me, y'all know how I be. Now, Lisa, besides a breakup, I'm dealing with the rest. I'm sticking with the 4 agreements. That's what's up. What's up? Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Tony says, I need a big hug, but I spend 2 hours in the gym to ease the pain. Yes. The gym, boy. Woo. Top that, like combine that with some good old trap music or some reggae music. Man, that workout gonna be amazing. Gym therapy. Yes. Yes. Although, I'm a little frugal. I don't have a gym membership anymore. Gym therapy is everything. Daniel Artez, what's the mathematics? How are you, Daniel? I seen the picture with you and your baby. I hope that y'all still enjoying y'all time together. Well, I call them all babies. Like anybody under 21 is a baby to me. Right? Still a baby. Let's see here. What else? What else? How can you help me? I was married to a woman. He doesn't understand, but I love him. Women. How can you help me? I was married to a woman. He doesn't understand, but I love him. Okay, now listen. Before the reading rainbow pop up. So what are you asking? You was married to James, you was married to a woman that you didn't understand, but you love her? Like clarify that for me. Forgive me. I can read, y'all, I promise. These books is evidence I can read. All right, so Halo, it definitely gave it to it definitely gave it to the most high, but I breathe and take a break from people and don't take it personally because it's written that everything is going to happen the way it did. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is excellent. And things have a way of happening like they're supposed to. Things are going to be what they're going to be, right? And truly, and I've shared this before, I believe it might still be on my profile. I don't even know. But really, nothing in life is personal. It's all about spiritual growth. And that feels so good rolling off of my tongue. But those closest to me know sometimes. Sometimes I be needing to call and be like, listen, holla at me, talk me off the ledge. But it's truly, that's really true. Nothing in life is personal. This is all about growth. It's about emptying out as well. Someone was sharing that with me, um, and that has really become significant because truly we take so much in social media, digital hygiene, all these different things that we take in, and we're taking all this stuff in. But when do you empty out, right? And what are you doing to get to the point to empty out, right? Very important. So let's see here. And y'all know sometimes even with that healing piece, it's quiet. Healing looks it's quiet. It's not always loud, right? Even though we see the post or we have the conversation, I'm on a healing journey, right? Sometimes it's quiet. It looks like boundary. It looks like turning your phone off, silencing opinions, recognizing that negative voice in your head, but not allowing it to overtake you, right? um, and just getting reacquainted with your own voice because sometimes we become so distracted. We become distracted with, social media, therapy, just different things like that. So there's all these distractions, and you can't even hear your own voice. Better yet, God's voice, the God within. You can't even hear him. You can't even hear because you're so distracted. And it's really important for you to get to the point of being centered enough so that you can hear your own voice, right? Because that voice in your head ain't always you. I'm just saying. Derek says also avoiding triggers, including several people in therapy, music, meds. I mean, meds. You know what? And there's holistic too. There's holistic. I got a whole holistic remedy. It's called nerves. It's literally called nerves. Take a few drops and you breezy, right? Um, Talking to certain people, sunshine, introspection, and literally saying F it, them works for me. Absolutely, right? These are wonderful. And thank y'all so much for sharing this. It really does matter. New month, gratitude is definitely reward. Gratitude is everything. Gratitude, that is, oh my goodness. Gratitude really does help not only with healing, centering, and all these different things. Yes, it is a new month. This is gonna be our month. This is gonna be a good month. We're gonna affirm that. So affirmations are also good too. Terry Butch, what's the science? You been outside, Terry? Have you been outside lately? The gym is undefeated, peaceful, sane place for stress relief. Love it. Absolutely. Yes, yes. The gym is a good place. It really is. I remember the gym. I remember the inside of the gym. Just ain't seen one lately. I do other stuff, but yes, the gym is a good thing. And it's also the gym is good because there's other people working out with some. Some people too busy taking selfies for the gram. But I mean, it can be a really inspiring place. Just saying. I pray, practice gratitude, listen to good music, work out, and spread love and light to others in order to help me get through the tough times. Absolutely. Yes, when you are able to be a service to others too, there is something very healing in that. I can definitely attest to that. And then just being able to even use your pain to help others. Because again, I know I probably sound like a broken record. I do believe that we do go through things for a reason. And we should use that when we feel moved to, when the spirit moves you or, whatever, to help others. I think that's really important. I do my podcast. Tyron, share your podcast. I don't think you shared it. Did you share it the last time? Share your podcast and tag me when you go live, right? So I can support you as well. All right. So what else? What else? What else, y'all? We still got a little time. Let's see here. We can't heal what we refuse to address. And I was actually just having this conversation with someone about the importance of like figuring out what that is. What is it? What is that thing? Or those things? You have to face them, y'all. You have to. No matter how difficult, no matter how much you want to push it down. Probably a majority of us in this on this podcast tonight probably real good at that because that's what life has taught us. Just push it down. Nah, don't push it down. Bring it up, address it, and empty it out. It's so important. So important. We certainly gonna have. All right, Tyron, let me know. Give me some notice. Just let me know. I'm with it. I'm with it. Controlling your feeling state is the key to having healthy interaction with life. Absolutely, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Yeah, so anyway, facing things too is really important because when you're able to face those things, you can move accordingly with getting through it, over it, and letting it out. Right. So that's the first step, being able to face and address what it is. Right. Um, yeah, so I think that is okay. I'll make sure I didn't miss any of your comments. Caregiver burnout. Have any of you ever had to take care of a parent, a sick loved one, a baby, or whatever, right? And while that's a beautiful thing, compassion fatigue is real. And it does not mean that you're failing. Some of us feel, oh, we're supposed to take care, especially if you have a parent that's sick. I've experienced both my parents, my father's no longer here, being sick and being a caregiver. And I can remember at one time feeling that guilt, like, oh my gosh, I'm tired, but I don't want to be tired. I need to be here. Compassion fatigue, is a real thing. But that does not mean that you're failing. Recognize that and take some of yourself back, right? Because all you can do is the best that you can, right? And you don't really want to overextend yourself so much where you are, you're pouring from an empty cup, right? You're supposed to, pour from the overload, what falls in a little saucer or whatever. You use that. Right? So anyway. Yeah, so definitely you even have to use boundaries there. You got to release what you cannot control. You got to. I'm learning that more and more. You got to release what you can't control, control the controllables. You absolutely must. You must. Let's see here. So, even with fallouts, y'all, listen, they happen. Friendships, you're like, man, that was my homie. That was my ace. There's a whole rap song about it. Y'all remember that lyric? Used to be my homie, used to be my ace. Now I want to. Never mind. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all generation Xers know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so even if it's fallout, deal with it. It happens, right? So ways to deal. There's several ways to deal with that, and you all have listed some really good ways to deal that can be used to deal with this as well. One thing you can do, you can write a closure letter. Remember we talked about, was it the episode where we talked about writing letters and stuff? Still do that. You might need to do that. And it don't even need to mean that does not mean that you need to give it to them either. You might need to write that letter to get it out. Because again, we're trying to empty all that out, right? And let yourself be real. Remember in that episode, look, freestyle it. Don't try to be perfect. Let that out. Anger, confusion, sadness, betrayal, whatever it is that you feel, Write it in that letter and do what you must with it. Okay. So, and again, just remember this: healing does not always mean reconciliation. It doesn't. Sometimes it requires self honesty and letting go of the fantasy of what was. That's just what it is. Okay. Because sometimes I think with even friendships, family ships, or whatever, it's this for some, not all, this feeling of, oh my gosh, I have to make this friendship, this family ship, this relationship exactly what it used to be. No, you don't. Because sometimes what it was, really what it wasn't. It's not. You're like, what? Sometimes what you think that relationship was, it wasn't. It's just what it is. And, being able to be honest with yourself about that, that's big. That's big. And take the pressure off. My daddy used to say that all the time. And even my closest circle would tell me, take the pressure off. Listen, take the pressure off. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to automatically go back to being. Why? Who said that? Why do we feel where do we get that from? You don't have to do that. Can I see your comments? Let's see here. Let's see. Let's see. Let me feel. Let me feel. All right. Life experience, ebbs and flows, is the spiritual resistance training that propels and positions us into our purpose. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm on the second parent. My father transitioned when I was 18. 6 years of being his hands and feet gone. Took years to rebound. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I like that you shared this, and thank you so much for sharing this, Derek. Took years to rebound. How many of us put pressure on ourselves to rebound immediately? Be nice to yourself. How you doing? Fonda Allen, thank you for joining me, beautiful, and happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. May you and your hubby be blessed with many, many, many more. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Community is in severe need right now. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. We are. Definitely. Absolutely. You are welcome. Positive and productive community. Absolutely. 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 And even like with the stuff that's going, we read the headlines. We've been reading the headlines for a very long time. Sometimes you just gotta unplug. You have to unplug. Although yes, you do have to know what's going on, so you know how to move and different things like that. But sometimes it builds and builds and builds, and then you're awakening other things inside, and it ain't no good. You're not even going to be able to move correctly because you didn't even take no time out. You got to do that. You know, it's okay. It's okay to do a media fast, media hygiene. You got to do it, and that's okay. So, I would replace like when you feel tempted to read some of those headlines, go earth, go ground, go and ground yourself, right? There's even, some I ain't gonna quote it. There's evidence that being in nature is really good for you, right? It's really good for you, not just spiritually, but for your physical body. So what was the discussion? Oh, Fonda, you're gonna have to watch the replay. But we talked about like digital hygiene. I talked about that last week. And then we talked, but this week I didn't cover phone last week. So cover phone this week. And then just getting into like, your soul, right? Soul hygiene, soul talk. Sometimes you thought it was a good thing, relationship, just because you want to be loved. But then realize it can't be love because you deserve what you give. So just take a break for self love. Absolutely. Sometimes you got to do that, right? How many times have you stayed in a relationship and it wasn't no good thing? This wasn't no good thing, right? Right. Sometimes loyalty can be an enemy. Sometimes you are so loyal that you're going to stay in a situation that's not even for your higher good because you're loyal. No, that ain't no good. You love yourself, you'll realize when you start to love yourself, you'll realize, no, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that at all. I've learned to love myself and know my absolutely, Renee. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. You have to know your worth. And it starts with you. Because when you're able to do those things, I feel like just even your whole energy feels how your whole energy changes, how you feel changes, what you draw to you changes, your outlook on life can change as well. Yeah, learn to be by yourself sometimes. Get to learn you. Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. You have to be able to do that. Being in nature is key to balance and mood boosting. I'm outside as much as possible. Yes, yes. I think that's a good thing. To be outside as much as you can be. That's a beautiful thing. Especially it's nice now. I know some of y'all say, oh, it's too hot, it's too hot. This is my time. Right. I love 90-degree days don't bother me. Right. I love the summertime. I love warm weather. Get outside. Get outside. Maybe not outside, unless you want to be outside. Get outside. You deserve it. Nature is itchy. Mosquitoes be tearing me up. Like I'm severe. I think we're all allergic to, well, some of us are allergic to mosquitoes, but I'm telling you, when those mosquitoes bite me, like it is this rush of it burns and then it just so bad. Like back in the day when I used to get bit, I'd be like, oh man, I got a mosquito bite. Like I would have to discover it, but not now. Now it burns. It's bad. I love the summertime. Yeah, summertime. I feel alive in the summertime. Hang with me. I got 3 ladies hitting concerts. Oh yeah. What concerts y'all going to? I know, let's see, I know, is it Brandy? Who is it? Brandy, Monica, and Kelly Rowland, and some other people are coming. I've seen that concert. That's gonna be a good one. 90 degrees bothers me, but I'm still in it. Listen, I love it. I mean, I'm not gonna say that my body don't experience hot because it does. I'm just saying like, I just feel alive in the summer. This is my time. It's absolutely my time. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Oh, yes, yes, Babyface. Yes, yes, yes. This is a major concert. See, yes, absolutely. The outside concerts, yeah, they're nice. It's just the mosquitoes be tearing me up. All right, so let's see here, y'all. We are coming to the end of this show. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Let's do a quick true false, y'all. Let's do quick true false. I got so wrapped up in the conversation. Let's see if y'all was listening. So we'll do a couple true false. Then I will get out of here. All right. So let me go ahead. So true or false? Your phone number can reveal your home address. Is that true or false? Was y'all listening tonight? Now look, I'm giving y'all a quiz. Were you listening? Your phone number can reveal your home address. Is that true or false? What y'all got for me? What y'all got? I'll do another one. Then I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. True, 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 true. Yes, the answer is absolutely true. Yes. All right, y'all. So let's look at this one. Let's look at this one right chill, right chill, right chill. All right. So this question right here. Yes, B. Jones. True, 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 true. Oh, I see y'all was paying attention. I love it. I love it. I love it a lot. All right. So this other question. Let me get this together. All right, so let me go ahead and post this. I know there's a slight delay. False. Forgiveness requires reconciliation. Is that true or is that false? Forgiveness requires reconciliation. Is that true or false? What y'all got? I put it in chat. Let me know what y'all think. Sally says I was paying attention in class. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So what y'all say? Forgiveness requires reconciliation. B. Jones says false. Holly Ortiz says false. Right? Yes. tonality says false. Absolutely, absolutely. That is correct. The answer is false, right? All right. Let's see here. I'm gonna give us one more. What one do I want to do? Okay, so here's another true false for you all. Okay, true or false? Your peace should not require explanation. Your peace should not require explanation. Is that true? Is that false? Is that false or is that true? What y'all think? False. Halo says. Halo says it's false. Okay. All right. True tonality says. Uh-oh. 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 Prince. How you been, Prince? That's right, my fellow July. How are you? How you been? It's been a minute, right? And now I know your birthday's coming up. Look, let me see here. I was kind of on Facebook. So anyway, look, if I don't think I missed your birthday. Yeah, I think it's early July, but happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, fellow July. Uh, Cancer. All right, yes, absolutely. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Yes. Renee says true. That's right. 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven. Like the store. Like the store. Michelle, thank you for joining me, beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me. True. Michelle says true. Halo says true. All right, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and post this answer right now. Okay, so the answer is, and then I'm going to wrap up and get out of here. So the answer is true. Protecting your peace is not being mean, it's being wise. Right? It's not being mean. You just got to do that sometimes. All right, y'all. So tonight we've talked about more than tech. Okay, we've talked about the trauma we carry. We've talked about protecting your phone number and most importantly, protecting your peace. And I hope that you all walk away with this from this episode with more than just facts. I want you to walk away with freedom. Do you really know what freedom feels like? Do you know what that feels like? If you don't, think about that and think about why you deserve that. Okay. Your peace is sacred. It's not public. It's not for sale. And no system, no X, no algorithm, no fear can touch what God has sealed. Remember that, right? So the affirmation that I have for you, I am divinely protected in all realms, seen and unseen. No weapon formed, digital or emotional, shall prosper. Right? My number is not my identity. My worth is not my notifications. I unplug from fear and plug into faith. My soul is sealed and sacred light. My peace is private, protected, and permanent. I'm going to go ahead and put that affirmation. That's a long one. I know that's a long one. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat, right? Y'all know I love affirmations. I love affirmations a lot. All right. So let's see. How'd y'all do? How'd y'all do on that quiz, right? I aced the test. I'm one of those smart boys. Renee says, right. Absolutely. Oh, okay. That was okay. Okay. I'll give you credit for it, Halo. All right. I'll give you credit for it. All right. All right. So that's the affirmation. It's kind of long. So anyway. Yeah. So if y'all need that, feel free to copy that. Again, I appreciate you all. Share this episode with someone who needs it, right? I hope I was able to cover you, right? Don't forget to follow, subscribe across all platforms, right? I want to give a shout out to all of y'all that listen tonight. Thank you so much for being in the studio, Lyric, the Grishams, Aunt Anna, my viewers. I really appreciate all of you, right? And just know that you're not paranoid. You're prophetic. Stay woke, stay wise, stay free. And y'all, let me go ahead and share these one more time. Holly, you got an A. I'm not surprised. You that student. You are that student. Absolutely. Renee, you only missed one. That's still an A. I'm still gonna give you an A, right? Because we're gonna grade on her. It's a grade. Grade. Absolutely. So please make sure that you're following, liking, subscribing across all platforms. YouTube is Relationship Soup, period. You want to join the forum, Relationship Soup Group. You want to follow me, it's Relationship Soup LLC. Now on IG, y'all know it's Relationship Soup. The website is RelationshipSoup.com, y'all. Again, thank y'all so much. I love you. And of course, love yourself. It starts with you. It starts with you, right? If you don't love yourself, how's anybody else gonna love you, right? All right, y'all. Until we meet next time, enjoy the summer. Enjoy the rest of your week. I love you. Peace.